It's finally here. I've managed to get early access to the Finest Hour DLC. Thank you, Herflick. Been super keen to get stuck into this since it was announced. Obviously, it brings the Commonwealth forces. Was a little sad that it didn't bring the Aussies, but fingers crossed we'll get them eventually. Now, one thing to note is this is a limited build. I only have 2 of the 16 single-player missions available to me. Everything else, I'm told, is in my version of the build. Let me know, though, after you've seen this, or comment. Do you want to see me play any of the single-player missions? Do you want me to play some PvP skirmishes? Let me know what you want me to do and throw up on YouTube for you guys to see, because obviously you guys can't play this yet. But let's just get stuck into it, shall we? Obviously, off the bat, background's new. Cromwell, looks like a panther with its turret facing the wrong way. New logo, Finest Hour. We go into single player here. We've got campaign, select campaign. We've got the Commonwealth here. Finest Hour, so 40 to 45 it goes. So pretty much the entirety of Britain in the war. Liberation of Old and Tears and Sweat. So I won't play the cutscenes for you. I'll probably play one or both of these missions over the next few days and you'll see it there. So I won't ruin that for you if you want to wait for that or just watch yourselves. But how good? Obviously, there will be another 14 missions that you can do. Just don't have them in this build. Now, my favorite part of the game, Conquest. Let's have a look at the Commonwealth Conquest. So they can play Western Front Finest Hour maps or Liberation and Finest Hour maps. So let's just do the Finest Hour maps. Can't remember how many maps they bring. Is it in the information sent to me? No. Enough with Hurl here. But either way, legend for setting this up for me. I can't remember. But let's just continue. Get stuck into it. I want to see what new units they have. So standard platoon. Oh, this comes with a little Bren carrier. That looks neat, doesn't it? That is neat. I like that. What are these? Rear echelon infantry, brigade defense. I won't go through all of the units. I will do a unit showcase eventually. This is just to kind of showcase what's new. But the helmets look cool. Got the Lee Enfields. They're quite nice. You got the motor sections, assault sections, carrier sections. So this comes with 3 Bren carriers. That's pretty snazzy. I feel like they're just going to get absolutely annihilated late game though. But if you can get to these guys early game, however long it takes to, we'll have a look at the research tree soon. This could be a pretty handy unit. I do like that. You got the Royal Engineers. So that's your standard engineer squad. Another carrier section. So they've got a few different carrier sections. What else do they have? So your standard engineers, assault, Canadian rifle. So you got a Canadian section here. Another Canadian section with the brands. You got Polish. So here's some Polish infantry. What else do we have? 51st Highlanders. So some, I think they're Scots. Little kilts. That's pretty cool. Commando, so they must be like the SAS. I hope they have a good SAS mission. That'd be cool. So Royal Marines, we've seen plenty of the infantry, so I won't go too much longer. I do just want to have a bit more of a look. So 6th Air Landing Rifle Squad, 51st Highlander again. Got the Bren. A nice looking gun, is it not? 7th Pioneer. A lot of infantry. Black Watch Rifle section. These guys also have little kilts on. You're right. You got the Airborne Infantry. Polish 1st Parachute. Surely they got an SAS section. Here it is. The SAS. I've been watching the SAS Rogue Hero series on ABC or SBS. Definitely worth a look if you're looking for something to watch. Piat looks quite nice, doesn't it? I feel like it's going to be quite a good unit for PvP. We've got Piat teams, medic, standard grands. A lot of those are standard. Vickers was already in the game, I believe. Now, What is this? A Polston Universal Mount. That's snazzy. So a bunch of the anti-air guns. Obviously, the Bofors already kind of looks like, pretty much is a Bofors by the looks of it. You got some 3.7-inch AAs. So now we're getting into their AT guns. That's a different looking AT gun. 2-pounder. Bunch more. We'll skip over. That looks a bit. Oh, that looks like that'd be the one from Hell Let Loose. That's what that looks like. We've got the 17 by 25 pounder, whatever that means. 17/25. I don't know. But here's the 17 pounder. We've got their mortar. Pretty cool. Just your standard infantry gun. I'm pretty sure it's the same as the Americans for looks. Some more of their artillery pieces. Let's get into their big artillery because that's a bit more interesting. So we've got the 4.5-inch Mark 1. I don't know what's exactly unique to them artillery-wise. I know like the long toms the Americans have. Same with the 4.5 inches. Not too sure about the rest. That's an interesting one. 8-inch howitzer. Looks like it could do some damage. Land mattress. Now this looks like a cool unit. Holy crap. So I can imagine that's going to cause some absolute chaos on the urban maps. I'm very keen to get stuck into that unit. I will start a dynamic campaign over the next few days and try some of these units. So if you want to watch along, sub and come watch along. I will note as well, if you want to see more of this kind of content, early access, dev blogs, guides, all that stuff, make sure to like, sub, comment, all that good stuff, because it really does help me out. Onward though, the Willys MG with the Vickers. This thing could absolutely shred in PvP. The fast-paced tactics using Jeeps could be quite a weapon, although I feel like it'd be used much like the 50 cal Jeeps the Americans have, so they are pretty handy if you play PvP, as you will know. We've got, what else? A bunch of just Bedford transports. Morris CS9, this is. I want to have a look at the Daimler. They got a Dingo. That's pretty snazzy. The Daimler Dingoes. So where are the bigger Daimlers? So this is a bunch of light recons. Here it is. Oh, maybe it's called a Fox or something. Ah, here, Daimler Mark II. This is the one of my favorite tanks on Squad 44 for those of you who play that. Very fun little thing to do. Daimler Little John. So it looks like it's got an upgraded cannon. That's pretty cool. More AEC. Scout vehicles. Staghound. That's pretty good little vehicle in Squad 44. Pretty fun. I do like how many different variations of all the units they've chucked in. Like you can see, obviously, cannon changes. So it just kind of goes to show how much effort the devs put into this game. Now we're getting into the Bren carriers, so just a bunch of different Bren carriers. You've all seen a Bren carrier. The half track we've all seen. We've seen that. This is a odd little vehicle. What is that? MK Vib. You're right. Where are we? So we've got some AA tanks. Crusader. You may know about that bad boy. Where are all the Cromwells in that? So these are all the different variations of Crusader. We've got Matildas. The Stuart Honey. I don't know what the difference the difference between the American Stuart and the Stuart 1 Honey is. Someone could let me know. But just a bunch of variations of the Stuart, although they look very different. That's what I've always assumed a Stuart to look like. It's tiny. We've got the Stuart V Reese, so it's a Stuart chassis with no turret. It's just got a 50 cal. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. So yes, they've got a lot of variations of their tanks. We've got a Locust, a lot of random tanks that I've never even paid much attention to. Like, they've done a lot with this DLC. Here are the Matildas. Crusader. Crusaders do look cool. I love their turret. It just looks sick to me. Whoa. So Crusader AA. Now we got the Valentines. So again, a bunch of different variations. These ones have the big gun on it though, by the looks of it, 75mm. That's got rocket. I've never seen this in my life. That's quite cool. Rocket Arty Cromwell. It's called a tulip. That is quite snazzy. We've got more Cromwells. The Comet. Some of you may have heard of that. 77mm. 153mm of penetration at 10 meters, although you're not really fighting at 10 meters. At 150, it's got 129, so it's not bad. It's not a bad little unit. Another Cromwell. Oh, no, sorry. I went back. Now at the Challenger. This thing is a beast in Squad 44. I love it. You got the Grant tank. Now we're getting into the Shermans. So we've all seen the Shermans. What is that? It's got a rocket on it. 2 rockets. That's quite cool. Sherman IC Hybrid. That'd be a cool little unit to use, actually. More Shermans. So these guys have all the Shermans the Americans have plus more, by the looks of it. Sherman Crocodile. That's got a... is that not a flamethrower or is that a machine gun? I thought that had the machine gun. I feel like it is. Yeah, it's got a flame. It is a flame tank. So that's pretty cool. I assume there will be a... I don't even know where I'm going. It doesn't matter. Don't worry. But yes, we have the Crab. That's cool. I'm keen to make use of that. I haven't actually used the mine laying equipment in this game yet, but this looks sick with the chains. Sherman VC. So it's kind of like their Firefly, 76mm, 17-pounder. Now we got the Churchills, the behemoths of the British Army. So there's a bunch of variations to the Churchill. We can keep going for days. They've got 2 lines to themselves, +1. Now we have the, what is it called? I know this one. Achilles? I think this is the Achilles. Oh no, this is the Achilles. That is a variation of the Achilles. Oh, they both must be the Achilles, but we got the Valentine 17-pounder Archer. I believe this one was actually designed to reverse into a position, fire on the target, and because it was facing the wrong way, it would be able to drive really quickly away. So the idea is the turret faces the wrong way and it stays there. You can see it's not a rotating turret. They shoot their target, you know, they ambush a tank and then they drive forward and get the hell out of there. That's essentially what this is supposed to be for. So I wouldn't be, and you can see hull armor, 10 to 20, not much. I would not be driving this forward, which would be that away. So this is the front into battle because you will die very quickly. In saying that, though, I'm sure it doesn't have much armor here either. But yeah, quite a cool vehicle. So that is the Conquest units. We'll have a look at the research tree. That's pretty standard. Here's the inf. So you can see there is a lot of infantry to get through. I myself will be pushing very hard for the SAS wherever they are. I'm looking right now. You can pause and have a look at the sections you want to look at. That is fine. As I said, I won't stick around too long on all this stuff. I'll do a proper unit walkthrough eventually, hopefully, if I get time. But there's the SAS. So they're actually going to take quite a while to get to. So you're going to have to unlock so much just to be able to get to the SAS. Wild. But other than that, they got some assault squads here, guards, AD rifle, engineers, Canadian and Polish units, etc. The Scottish Highlanders, where are they? Where are they? There, Highlander. Yes, quite cool. Moving down, standard ammo, etc. Engineers, AP miners, AT, that's pretty normal. Only the one machine gun for these guys. Standard mortar tree. Pretty small AA tree compared to a lot of the other factions. But I feel like most people skip over the AA trees. I definitely do, unless I want the 88mm for the Germans. Fair bit to pick from AT wise. Oh, there's that Valentine with the turret facing the wrong way that I was talking to you about just then. Arty wise, this land mattress is going to be sick. I'm very keen to try that out. The 5.5 inch, I will look at doing a guide for the artillery pretty quickly, much like I did for the Germans and the Americans, where I have all of their distances, how much ammo they have, all of that, and the time it takes for them to reload. So we'll get into that. What is this? Valentine 25 pounder. Oh, yeah. So it's like a self-propelled artillery. Here we have just some Jeeps. Oh, that'd be the Vickers Jeep. Don't even know why you'd bother with this part of the tree, to be honest. I probably would have included this with the like this tree, like they usually do with the ammo crate, etc. But yeah, all good. After that, we have scout cars, etc. And there is a lot of fun things scout car wise in the Commonwealth forces. I'll just call them Commonwealth forces because they do have a bunch of different forces. It's not just the British or the English. But these AECs are quite awesome. I think they're going to be quite deadly. They have decent guns on them. The Daimlers are nice. Staghounds are nice. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. The half tracks and stuff, I'm not that much of a fan of. The Bren carriers, I'd rather get the Bren carriers in the infantry squads, so I probably won't bother with them. But have some fun with it. Dingo could be a bit of fun. Now we're getting into the tanks. All right, the tanks. There is a lot of tanks. Much like the Americans, you've got to go through a lot to get to these cool tanks, which does kind of suck, I must say. I hate spending so much on tanks and missing out on infantry and all that kind of stuff because I actually prefer the small unit tactics with infantry and infantry guns and artillery and maybe a tank. I'm not a big fan of having heaps of tanks because I feel like you just roll over the enemy. But they have. Oh wait, is that reverse tank? No, I don't think it is. But they got Stuart's up here, Stuart Reese. Pretty useless, I think. Personally, I think Smart Man would go down first. You could go Matildas, push across those trees. You do have the cruisers. What does this go to? The Matildas go to the Valentines. But if you go to the Crusader, you can actually make your way to the Grant and then to the Sherman. So it might be better going this way and making your way as opposed to going straight down. If you go down, though, you do get to the Churchills. But I think the right side is a lot better. You get your Cromwells, you get Shermans. Obviously, that includes Fireflies, etc. You get the Crocodile. You get the Challenger. Challenger is awesome. You get the Cromwell with the weird rockets on it, which is funny. Comet. I think Smart Man would definitely go that away. But it's Dynamic Conquest. Do with it what you will. It is yours to do with what you wish. That is cool. Unfortunately, we can't go through the maps, which does suck. We can look at this. Can. That's quite cool. What other maps have they got for us to have a quick little look at? Bergen Radar. There's that one. So there's two little snippets you get a look at out of all of the Dynamic Conquest. Now, let's get out of this and get into the PvP. Now, I don't know if I have a... No, I won't even go into that yet. Sorry. I was looking to see if there were skirmish missions, but they're in the single player, not in that. So disregard that. But local skirmish, let's have a look at some of these maps. So we have... where are we? Liberation. Finest Hour. Full Gelb. So feel free to, I don't know, go closer to your screen. But there is the map. You'll only get an overview and a quick snippet. If I go into them, it'll take way too long, so I'm not going to. But we got Oosterbeek. So one side very urban, one side very open. I'm curious to see how that's going to look. Very curious. Moving down, we have Solingen Factory. So it looks like there's a couple of bridges. I'm assuming you'll start on each corner and it will just be a fight in the middle here. Lose control of your bridge, that could hurt. I don't know if you will be able to go over the water. Perhaps they will have made it shallow so you can. Because I can imagine those bridges being bottlenecks if a good player pushes you really hard at the start and you're not prepared. We have Wiederingsteeg. A little intersection with houses or something. I do like the picture though. That looks cool. We have Dunkirk Dunes. Nice urban map. This is going to be a very chaotic map to fight on. I like that. We have Hilsum. Very nice. We have Wessel. That looks very urban. Canals, which kind of looks like Drill in Hell Let Loose to me, with the windmills and the river, etc., the flowers, all those. We have Hamminkeln. I'm probably butchering these names. If I am, just tell me how to spell it, how to pronounce it properly in the comments, please, because I'm useless. Pretty open. Does look pretty open to me. Maybe swampy. Then we've got Mont Casal. That'll be a fun one, I think. That'll be a shit fight in the middle here, I think. And we have Zealand. Looks quite open on the outsides, but that middle section looks like it'll be a bit of a dogfight, which is always fun. Countryside, Arras Countryside. Get a little snippet there. Eindhoven. This will be a pretty open map, I believe. And what else do we have? Remagen. Thought we already had a Remagen map, or one kind of like it. Looks like it'll be a lot more open on one side compared to the other. And we have Vlissingen Breach. So a lot of an urban theme here, if you will. Let's go into one of the maps though. Let's go to Full Gelb or whatever. And let's have a look at the Doctrines, because I'm sure that's what many of you that are stuck around this far want to see, the Doctrines. So, these are your Doctrines. They even have little info cards, which is very nice, although for some reason it won't click on it. I don't know. But, infantry squads, riflemen, just your standard. These will all be pretty standard. There you can have a look at some of the standard guns, etc. You'll get mortar, Vickers. I assume most of these units will have, like most of these Doctrines will have these kind of units. Where it will probably differ the most, a bunch of Daimlers. So you can actually get Staghounds and Daimlers just in the stand without having to use Doctrine points, just on CP. That could be good. It's almost like the M20 for the Americans, but these are a lot better. Can't remember how much the M20 costs though. You can get a Dingo pretty cheap, 100 MP. This could be quite handy. Even the Universal Carrier, 80 MP. If you just use them kind of like people use the half tracks with the Americans, you could do some damage. These are the all-round tanks you get. You get a crab. If your enemy has done, some boogaloos and mined it like someone like Triglav would have. If any of you remember him from the old videos. And the Doctrine, so the all-round Doctrine. So you get the air landing supplies. I assume this is like supplies. Support section, sorry. So you get a section commander, sniper, MG operator, MG assist. Get your Crusader or a Staghound. Artillery, Achilles, more artillery, Sherman IC Hybrid Tulip. So this is one with the rocket arty on it. And a 155mm gun. So quite cool. Defensive. I'm not going to go, I'll just quickly go through these. You can pause it and look if you want. But the defensive doctrine, you get the Royal Engineers, the Morris C9B. You're right. And an infantry gun, 4.2-inch mortar, Sherman tank. You get a 3.7-inch AA gun, 2 Valentine Archers, which are the rear-facing gun tanks. Don't know how good they'll be on PvP, because if you get hit once by your enemy, because usually your enemies are pretty good with their tanks, you're screwed. I probably wouldn't go for these. I don't know. Maybe. It could be. They could be really good. Who knows? And then a couple artillery pieces. Regular. You have Inf. There's your guns. There's your standard weapons that you get with all of them. But as for the Doctrine units, you get the bombs, so a big 500 and a smaller 250. Carrier section, so obviously that comes with 3 carriers. It comes with a mortar carrier, a wasp, and a universal carrier. So that could be handy for just 10 DP. And then you get the M22 Locust Little John. I actually think that carrier section could be quite handy. If your enemy doesn't bring out a tank first up and they go with, you know, a sniper or something, or you can manage to take out their tank, you could overwhelm very quickly with that. I like that, actually. You get the Jedburgh team with a commander, executive officer, and a radioman. So I assume that that's a radioman with like a little artillery flare. Sherman Crocodile, Churchill, a big artillery piece, and the land mattress. That will absolutely decimate objectives. I don't think much is going to escape the explosions of that. How many even is there? I can't even. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16. Looks like 32 rockets to me. Correct me if I'm wrong. And offensive. Offensive is usually my favorite. So you can see, obviously, the infantry will differ. These guys have Polish, etc. So if you want to go back and look through the infantry a bit better, feel free. Other than that, it won't differ too much until you get to the Doctrine units. They get a recon plane, Royal Marines Commando Support Section, with a sniper, subsection commander, some crew. You get the Crusader AA, Churchill, Challenger. I think the Challenger is going to be very good. SAS section, love that. Can't wait to try them. Some artillery and 2 Sherman ICs. How good. There we go. That is the Finest Hour DLC. How good. Thanks for watching. Like, sub, comment, all that good stuff. I'll catch you on the next one.